I need lights!
Marker!
Roll camera!
We have speed.
Action!
Holy relics from a very special place far, far away. They are born of dark magic. They have the power to change the world as we know it. Don't lose them. Whatever you do, don't get them wet. Once darkness gets a taste for light, it will not stop.
What?
That's Nicholas Hoult as Jack. Yes, as the main character in that classic fairy tale that's been revamped and reworked here as a new fantasy action adventure, Jack the Giant Slayer. Now, when the story starts off, Jack's a little boy. He hears the fable, the myth, the legend of how giants once ruled the land and was banished by a famous king, banished up above, which is weird. You'd think they'd banish them below, but no, they're up above in a mystical land far, far above the clouds. Well, when Jack ends up with, of course, those magic beans and the beanstalk that gets created because of his clumsiness, yeah, it creates a problem, because guess who ended up going for a ride, unintentionally? Princess of the land, the king's little girl, and Jack's got a huge crush on her. So, of course, he volunteers to go up and try to save her from the land of giants, along with her personal guard, led by Ewan McGregor, and her suitor, who's got more up his sleeve than he's really showing. Yeah, he's no good. Played by Stanley Tucci, kind of the other villain in the piece, except for, of course, the big bad giants. So now it's up to Jack and her personal guard and her suitor, who she's not into at all, the princess, to save her from the giants and, of course, not let the giants, that's right, there's many giants in this, not just one, plural, giants, army of giants. Don't let them down the beanstalk, because they'll just wreak havoc and destroy everything, and of course, fee, fi, fo, fum, they like eating Englishmen. Good luck, Jack!
Something grabbed her. Something big. Run!
Uneven, unoriginal, and not very impressive with its special effects, Jack the Giant Slayer is a fantasy action adventure that would have done much better, and would do much better at the box office, in my opinion, if they had lightened their tone even more, been more tongue-in-cheek, not taking themselves so seriously, and not be so scary to little kids. Look, the kids at my screening, there were some parents who brought like 10, 11, 9-year-olds. They had to take them out, because the giants and some of the material in that film is too dark and too scary for them, too intense. Remember, the giants like to eat Englishmen and women, and they're going to try to eat the princess, eat Jack, eat Ewan McGregor as the princess's defender and lead protector. So, no. So basically, who is this movie aimed at? Well, I'm thinking maybe teenage boys, 13 to 16, 17. Look, the CGI, which was really important here in a movie of this kind of material, is not impressive. The giants are not really impressive at all. Look, remember the troll that little Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron went up against in Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone back in 2001? That troll was more impressive than these giants now. That's not good. Come on. I saw it in 3D. You don't need to see it in 3D. There's a couple arrows that shot out at your head, and a giant swinging a club at you at one point, but other than that, it's really not needed. So you're paying an extra $5 for maybe an arrow just shot at your head and a club swung at you. Big deal. But I can't even recommend that you pay full price or even matinee. Look, the cast does a fine job. Nicholas Hoult is fine as Jack. Ewan McGregor is great as the princess's lead protector. I wish there had been more Ewan McGregor in there, because he seemed to know how to play it, a little more tongue-in-cheek. When they were having some fun with it, playing some tongue-in-cheek, there's a great scene where Jack thinks he's scared away some people who are threatening the princess, and then he realizes there's somebody behind him, and he says, there's someone behind me, isn't there? And the audiences laughed. If there had been more of that spirit and that kind of writing in it, I think I'd probably be able to recommend it. As is, I'm going to say, catch it on Blu-ray or DVD, or better yet, when it comes on HBO or Showtime or Cinemax on regular television. Unless you're a die-hard fan of the genre, you've seen much better with the Harry Potter films and the Lord of the Rings films, And for a fantasy action adventure, it comes up lacking and missing, especially with its uneven pacing and writing and style. So I'm going to give it a popcorn and a half, especially for effort and for Ewan McGregor. The rest of the cast, and Nicholas Hoult does a solid job as Jack, but it's really a lacking fantasy adventure, and there's much better out there on DVD and Blu-ray right now. So, and let's hope, Lear's hoping that Oz the Great and Powerful, starring James Franco, which we'll be reviewing next week, will be the fantasy action adventure that we're all waiting for and hoping for. But as for right now, Jack the Giant Slayer? No. Popcorn and a half is the best I can give it. With Kevin in the Movies, I'm Kevin Finnerty, online and on the air every Sunday afternoon at 1 on AM 600 KOGO.